From the misty shores of Brittany to the sun-drenched plains of Provence, the ancient Celts known as Gauls carved a niche for themselves in European history. Renowned for their skilled horsemanship, fierce independence, and unwavering courage, the Gauls were a formidable force to be reckoned with. At the heart of this formidable reputation lay their well-honed military machine. Unlike their Roman counterparts with their regimented legions, the Gallic approach to warfare was rooted in a unique blend of tribal ferocity, cunning tactics, and technological innovation. This video delves into the fascinating world of the ancient Gallic warrior, exploring the various military units that formed the backbone of their defensive and offensive capabilities. We will dissect the roles played by these units, the weaponry they wielded, and the strategies they employed to dominate the battlefields of Europe. Unlike the centralized professional armies of some empires, the Gallic military structure was intrinsically linked to their tribal way of life. Every able-bodied Gaul was expected to contribute to the defense of their community. This inherent sense of duty ensured a readily available pool of warriors who could be mobilized at a moment's notice. The core of the Gallic army was comprised of individual warriors, known as ambacti, who pledged allegiance to a specific noble or chieftain. These warriors formed the elite fighting force, boasting superior equipment and honed battle skills. Their unwavering loyalty and prowess in combat were instrumental in the Gauls' success against their enemies. The elite of these made up the feared Gallic Cavalry, arguably some of the best horsemen in the ancient world. However, the most common type of warrior was the foot soldiers, typically armed with long spears and large shields, formed the unwavering backbone of the Gallic army. Their dense formations presented a formidable obstacle for any enemy force, and their battle cries, echoing across the battlefield, were known to strike fear into the hearts of their foes. Skirmishing played a significant role in Gallic warfare, and this was the domain of the slingers and javelin throwers. Lightly armored and highly mobile, these warriors would harass enemy flanks and disrupt formations with hails of projectiles before retreating to safety. Their hit-and-run tactics could wear down enemy morale and create openings for a decisive charge by the main Gallic force. The Gallic arsenal showcased their ingenuity and ability to adapt. Their primary weapon was the long-bladed sword, wielded with both skill and ferocity. For close-quarter combat, they also employed axes and heavy swords. Gallic warriors were also known for their javelins, which could be hurled with deadly accuracy to disrupt enemy formations. Beyond weaponry, the Gauls displayed a surprising degree of innovation in armor design. While some warriors fought bare-chested, others donned elaborate chainmail or leather armor for protection. Notably, they also employed helmets adorned with elaborate horns or feathers, which served not only as practical protection, but also as a psychological tool to intimidate their adversaries. However, there was also a noticeable Greek influence, something that stemmed from the Gauls trading with the nearby colony of Massila. The Gauls were not merely ferocious fighters, but also astute tacticians, who readily adapted their strategies to the situation at hand. They excelled in exploiting terrain to their advantage, using forests and hills to ambush enemies or launch surprise attacks. Perhaps the most defining characteristic of the Gallic military approach was their emphasis on psychological warfare. Their warriors, often adorned with elaborate tattoos and wielding fearsome battle cries, sought to intimidate their foes before the clash of steel. This focus on the psychological dimension of warfare, coupled with their undeniable courage and skill in battle, made the Gauls a force to be reckoned with for centuries. In the following sections, we will delve deeper into each of these units, exploring their specific roles, equipment, and the tactics they employed on the battlefield. Boian Gallic Warriors of the 4th-3rd century BC stand out as formidable and distinguished warriors. The Boii, although from Gaul, modern France, were known to have colonies all over the classical world, with one being in northern Italy. These fierce warriors would have fought against the Etruscans, Greeks, and later even the Romans. The type of warrior we will be describing is likely a high-ranking individual, perhaps a noble or tribal chief, playing crucial roles in battle as an elite heavy infantryman. The panoply is therefore carefully curated, emphasizing both defensive and offensive elements. The Montefortino helmet with trilobate cheekpieces is a standout component, showcasing bronze decorations that signify the high status of the owner. The helmet, based on finds from the Monterenzio necropolis, is a clear representation of the Gaulish style prevalent during that era. The Gaulish shield was oval in design, with a large center shield boss. The shield was strengthened with a metallic rim. The inside of the shield was often hollowed out, and a handle was attached in the center protected by the shield boss. These were large shields that offered full protection of the body when in a fighting stance. These shields were highly decorated, often with symbols and animals. The armor, a leather spolas with a tube and yoke design, reflects the absence of metallic armor in the graves. The fringes, known as pteriges, provide additional protection to the lower part of the body without limiting movement. The colored and decorated armor, featuring motifs like the lozenge and palmette, showcases the Gauls' penchant for vibrant and attention-grabbing attire on the battlefield. Jewelry, including the torque, amber, and glass beads, serves as additional markers of status and identity. The torque, a symbol of the free man, holds significant cultural importance for Gaulish warriors. Moving to offensive elements, the Boian Gallic Warrior is armed with a pilum, a heavy javelin known for its devastating impact on shields. The pilum, originally associated with Roman legionaries, finds its roots in ancient Italy and remained a prevalent weapon until late antiquity. The warrior also wields a 2.5-meter spear with a pear-shaped tip, designed for both thrusting and holding the spear in close combat. The most fascinating weapon is the longsword, housed in a metallic sheath with a belt for easy movement and extraction. With a 75 cm blade sharpened on both sides, the sword was well suited for delivering wide blows and thrusts. The Boian Gallic Warriors presented a formidable and visually striking image on the battlefield. Their military might was apparent, even after their conquest by Rome. When Hannibal invaded Italy, many Gallic tribes in the Po Valley, including the Boii, rose in rebellion, joining Hannibal's army. Gallic warriors, such as the Boian warriors, played pivotal wars in Hannibal's campaign, noticeably at the battles of Lake Trasimene and Cannae. Cannae, in particular, shows how tough and reliable the Gauls were, as they took the brunt of the Roman attack, able to skillfully hold the line and lure the Romans into a trap. Such feats dispel the popular Roman notion as the Gauls as uncivilized barbarian brutes, and instead showed them for what they were: highly sophisticated and deadly warriors. The Gaesatae, or Gaesatae, were a formidable group of Gallic mercenary warriors who played a significant role in the Battle of Telamon against the Roman Republic in 225 BC. These warriors resided in the Alps near the river Rhone and left an intriguing mark on history. The etymology of the Gaulish name Gaesatae sheds light on the nature of these warriors. It literally translates to armed with javelins or spearmen, originating from the Celtic noun gaisos, meaning spear, javelin. This term is cognate with the Old Irish Gaesatae, referring to an armed person, warrior, champion. The stem Gaesat is also found in various Gaulish proper nouns, like Gaesatus and Gaesatius, as well as in the compound Gaesato rix, meaning king spear or king javelin. Interestingly, the Greek historian Polybius interpreted Gaesatae as meaning mercenaries. Polybius's historical account provides insight into the Gaesatae's involvement in conflicts. The Boii and Insubres of Cisalpine Gaul paid the Gaesatae, led by Concolitanus and Aneroestes, to combat the Romans. This was a response to the Roman colonization of Picenum, a former Gallic territory. The Gaesatae achieved initial success by defeating a Roman army on the approach to Rome. However, the consul Lucius Aemilius Pappus intervened, leading to a confrontation at Telamon in Etruria. Noteworthy is the distinctive way the Gaesatae approached battle, as described by Polybius. Unlike their Gallic allies, who fought clothed, the Gaesatae fought naked, reflecting their confidence and a desire to avoid entanglement in brambles. Diodorus Siculus also noted that some Gauls fought naked, trusting in the protection of nature. The sight of these well-built, adorned warriors dismayed the Romans initially, but the lack of protection against Roman javelins led to the Gaesatae's retreat and the slaughter of their allies. In 222 BC, the Gaesatae were hired once again, but they faced defeat by Roman cavalry at Clastidium in the Insubres territory. According to Plutarch, the Gaesatae numbered 30,000 as they crossed the Alps, with 10,000 engaging in the Battle of Clastidium. Comparisons have been drawn between the Gaesatae and the medieval Irish Fianna, mythical small war bands of landless young men operating independently of any kingdom. This connection adds an intriguing layer to the historical understanding of the Gaesatae and their role in the complex tapestry of ancient conflicts. The Gaesatae, with their unique tactics and historical significance, stand as a testament to the intricate dynamics of warfare in the ancient world. The heart of any Celtic warband beats in sync with the rhythm of the spear, and at the core of these fierce fighting units stand the Gallic Warriors. Lightly equipped but by no means insignificant, these fighters rely on effective and readily available weaponry to assert their dominance on the battlefield. Central to the Gaelic's arsenal is the iconic Celtic long spear. This seemingly simple yet devastating tool is forged from easily accessible materials, featuring broad and sharp heads designed to inflict gruesome wounds and topple mounted foes. Complementing the long spear are javelins, which provide a valuable ranged option. These weapons are used to disrupt enemy formations and inflict initial casualties before the melee combat begins. For protection, they used the standard Celtic shield. These were huge tower shields that provided protection to the entire body. More often than not, these shields were round in shape, however. Sometimes they were hexagonal. Despite their basic equipment, Gallic spearmen are a formidable asset to any warband. Their true value lies in their experience. Seasoned Gallic warriors inspire confidence among their comrades and significantly enhance the overall strength of the warband. Even the inexperienced recruits, though less seasoned, often prove superior to hastily raised levies. Their training and cohesion contribute to a more effective fighting force, capable of executing complex battlefield maneuvers and holding their own against more heavily armored adversaries. This reliance on the spear is not confined to a single tribe. Across the vast expanse of Transalpine Gaul, the Gaelaic style of armament and combat predominates. Their influence stretches even to distant southwest Britain, where tribes have adopted similar weaponry and tactics. The uniformity in weaponry across these regions underscores the practicality and effectiveness of the spear in Celtic warfare. The Gallic warriors, with their iconic spears, exemplify the heart and soul of the Celtic warband. Their fighting style, characterized by both ranged and melee capabilities, showcases a strategic versatility that belies the simplicity of their equipment. The broad adoption of their tactics and weaponry across different tribes speaks to a shared cultural appreciation for practical and effective combat solutions. In conclusion, the Gallic, with their long spears and javelins, form the backbone of the Celtic warband. Their experience and cohesion make them a valuable asset, and their reliance on practical, readily available weapons ensures that they remain a formidable force. Across Gaul and into Britain, the influence of the Gallic is felt, highlighting the widespread respect for their approach to warfare. The Gallic noble cavalry were the elite shock troops of ancient Gaul, a thunderous force composed entirely of the wealthiest members of their tribes. Clad in gleaming armor and mounted on powerful steeds, these warriors were a symbol of prestige and a terrifying sight on the battlefield. Their very presence inspired both awe and fear, often turning the tide of battle with a single, well-timed charge. These noble warriors were expected to withstand the harshest blows of battle. Their armor, likely a combination of high-quality chainmail and iron helmets, offered significant protection. Their primary weapon was the iconic longsword, a formidable weapon designed for both slashing and thrusting. For mounted combat, they wielded armor-piercing lances, capable of delivering devastating blows to enemy formations. Javelins were also a possibility, allowing them to harass enemies before closing for the kill. Unlike most Gallic warriors who fought on foot, the noble cavalry were a professional class. Their wealth allowed them to dedicate themselves solely to the art of warfare, honing their riding skills and swordsmanship through constant training. This dedication, coupled with their superior equipment, made them a force to be reckoned with. Their motivation stemmed not just from personal glory, but from a deep sense of duty to protect their people and uphold the honor of their tribe. Heavy cavalry has always been the domain of the wealthy, and Gallic society was no exception. The Hallstatt period, 800–450 BC, saw evidence of horse-related activities in the burials of the rich, hinting at emerging mounted warriors. The Latin era, 450 BC 1st century AD, brought a clear shift, with burials containing longswords, horse adornments, and even lances, a clear indication of a dedicated cavalry class. This period also saw a lengthening of the Celtic sword, interpreted as an adaptation for mounted combat, signifying the birth of the Gallic noble cavalry. The development of Gallic cavalry may have been influenced by contact with Mediterranean powers, particularly the Hellenic kingdoms of the East. These kingdoms employed devastating heavy cavalry tactics developed by Philip II of Macedon. The high demand for Gallic mercenaries among Hellenic states in the 4th and 3rd centuries BC further bolsters this theory. This period coincides with the archaeological evidence of longswords, chainmail, and helmets appearing in Gallic burials. History is filled with examples of the Gallic noble cavalry's prowess. At the Battle of Telamon in 225 BC, the Gauls fielded a staggering 20,000 cavalry force, nearly outnumbering the Roman horse by 4-1. Hannibal famously used Gallic cavalry to great effect at the Battle of Cannae, 216 BC, a testament to their battlefield dominance. The 2nd and 1st centuries BC saw a continued rise in the importance of cavalry in Gallic warfare. A unique formation known as the Trimarcesia emerged, where a noble rode with 2 retainers who would support him in battle. By the 1st century BC, this system evolved into the comitatus, large bodies of retainers led by a single noble. These later cavalrymen were equipped with longswords, iron helmets, chainmail sometimes, and powerful lances. In some cases, they even rode large horses imported from Scythia. The Gallic noble cavalry remained a dominant force until the Roman conquest of Gaul. Their legacy is one of courage, skill, and unwavering loyalty. They were the thundering storm that ushered in battle, a symbol of Gallic might and a force that demanded respect, even from the most seasoned Roman legions.